I look rough. Ignore that. So this is sexual week, and my video is just going to be discussing a few sexualities and gender identities that are outside of the main four that most people know about. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the first one is non-binary, and if you watch my videos, then you already have an idea of what that is, because I am non-binary and I've talked about it before. But basically, a non-binary person is someone who identifies outside of the gender binary, that binary being man and woman. And a lot of people think that non-binary people have to be androgynous because they don't identify as a man or a woman, so if they're feminine or masculine, then they're like kind of choosing a gender or something. That's not the case. Some non-binary people are more comfortable presenting more androgynous, but others are more comfortable presenting more feminine or more masculine. Me, personally, I want to present more masculine. That is what I'm comfortable with, and I'm more comfortable with masculine terms rather than feminine terms. And non-binary people also use like a whole different array of pronouns. A lot of people think that non-binary people just always use they them pronouns, but that is not the case either. Some prefer to use strictly they them. That is what they're comfortable with. Others feel more comfortable with gendered pronouns, and some prefer to use they them along with another gendered pronoun. Like, I use he they pronouns. Other people will be more comfortable with they she. Some non-binary people even only use gender pronouns like he him or she her, and there are some non-binary people that are comfortable with any pronouns. Like, it doesn't matter what pronouns you use, they're fine with either of them. Okay, next is demi-genders, like demi-boy and demi-girl. They fall under the non-binary umbrella because they identify as a gender that is like outside of the man-woman binary. But it's a little more than just identifying outside of that binary. So like a demi-boy is someone who identifies with aspects of masculinity but doesn't identify as a man. And then you have the reverse with demi-girl, which is someone who identifies with aspects of femininity but doesn't identify as a woman. And there's no like requirements or anything for anything in like sexuality or gender identity, except like lesbians are not attracted to men at all. That's like a requirement, but but like someone who is assigned male at birth can identify as a demi-boy because they still feel kind of masculine, but they don't identify as a man. And same can be said with like someone who is assigned female at birth that identifies as a demi-girl. But then there's also people who are assigned female at birth that identify as demi-boy, and people who are assigned male at birth that identify as demi-girl. It's just whichever like aspects of the gender that you like kind of identify with, but you don't identify as that gender. Okay, so next I'm going to be moving on to agender. This one is going to be kind of short because there's not really much to say. Agender is just someone who doesn't really identify with the concept of gender. Like, the most basic way that people put it is that they are genderless. And I don't really know how else to like really put this. I don't identify as agender, so there's not really much I can touch on that. But that's just like the basic concept of it. Okay, and now I'm going to be moving on to sexualities. The first I'm going to touch on is demisexual. This falls under the asexual umbrella, and it basically means that you don't feel sexual attraction towards someone unless you have some kind of connection or bond with them formed first. And so usually demisexual people are a little more sex positive, but that also just heavily depends on the individual, because everyone experiences it different. What happened to the lighting? Everyone experiences it differently. No two experiences are going to be exactly the same. Okay, and then my friend wanted me to touch on omnisexual, and like bisexual and pansexual, it's an attraction to more than one gender. The way people put it that I've heard is that bisexual is attracted to 2 or more genders with a gender preference, pansexual is attracted to all genders without a gender preference, and omnisexual is attracted to all genders with a gender preference, but those aren't really requirements for the sexualities. Most people I know, they just choose whichever label feels more comfortable to them, but they're all basically like attraction to more than one gender. I identify as panromantic because the way that I put it is that I don't care about the person's gender that I'm dating. It's more so of the person's personality and if I gel well with them. But for those, it all basically just boils down to what label you feel more comfortable with. Okay, and then lastly, my friend wanted me to touch on the difference between romantic attraction and sexual attraction, and while I feel like that's just kind of self-explanatory, my friend says that it's like kind of not. So I'm just gonna kind of dumb it down as much as I can. Romantic attraction means you are romantically attracted to someone. You want to date them and do all like the cute coupley stuff with them and whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are sexually attracted to them. And then sexual attraction, you want to have sex with the person, but you're not necessarily romantically attracted to them. That's the most I can dumb it down, and I just don't see how, like, someone would have a hard time understanding that, but I don't know. Okay, so that is my video for the month of February. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.
No, ay, por eso le meto a las dos, a la vez, una en cuatro, la otra